Hi, how's everybody doing tonight? My name is Yolanda, aka YOLO. I'm here in Arizona, and welcome to my channel, the Rideshare Queen, or as I call myself, the Uber Queen. Right? I gave a little introduction of myself in my first video, so just as a highlight, I'm an RN and I do rideshare part-time. So this is Saturday night and I'm preparing to go out for the evening. I drove last night and I did pretty well. I went from 11 last night until about 6 o'clock this morning, and I made just a little over 200 bucks with tips. So not bad, not really bad. That was a little bit over 30 bucks an hour, not including what I have to subtract for gas. I filled my tank at the beginning of the time I went out, and I burned about half a tank of gas. So approximately $17 in gas. So I still think I did pretty well. Yeah, so this is Saturday night, which is a big night for rideshare, doing Uber and Lyfts. But I didn't do Lyft last night. I just did Uber because I was doing the weekly quest. And my quest this week is 40 rides, and it's not paying very much, but you know, money is money. It's $35 you get if you complete 40 rides. And I'm already about 14 rides in, so I can easily finish the challenge between tonight and then you probably do a few hours tomorrow. So what I'm doing right now is I'm just preparing for the evening. I'm doing my makeup um, and kind of laying down my edges here with the scarf. So I always make sure before I go out, I have my full makeup and everything. I think it helps with the tips. So that's why I pretty much try to do a really good job with my makeup. So um, I'm not just gonna let you just watch me do my makeup. I thought I would share what happened during the night last night because I get up quite a few interesting passengers. So I thought I'd share a few of the stories that with some of the passengers I experienced last night. So let me start with the first story. Okay, so last night, my very first ride, I had to do a pickup at a bar, and the ride request came in. It was $4, and it's at a package, and it was like 2 miles there, and then 2 miles to the not even 2 miles to drop off the package. And just from what the ride request said, I knew the bar because it was here in my town, and I knew from the address for where the drop off was, it was to another bar. So I figured, oh, maybe somebody left their phone at the bar and they want it dropped off at the other bar. And when you get a request for a package, you don't even have to get out of your car. Somebody's got to bring it to your car, and then you deliver it, and somebody's got to come to the car to pick it up. So I'm like, cool, it's not a passenger, it's just a package, whatever. So I go to the bar, I pull up, and there's this couple. They're an older couple, right? And they come to the car, and he's like, "Are you Yolanda?" Yes. I'm like, "Okay, so where's the package?" And they're like, "What package?" I'm like, "What do you mean, what package?" It says package on the request for the pickup. And they're like, and the wife is the one who did the request on her Uber app. So she's like, "I don't know what you're talking about the package." And I said, "I think you probably made a mistake." She's like, "Oh, I always pick the cheapest of the ride choices." I'm like, "Well, you can't do that." And like, "Well, can't you just take us anyway?" No, because I'm not going to transport people for the price of a package. That's cheating me. You're asking me to take less money, okay? So I said, "You need to cancel." She's like, "Okay, no problem." So she cancels it, and I sit there and wait, and we're having a conversation. I'm like, no big deal. Some things happen, if you're not familiar, and they're older, and I'm like, they probably didn't know how to really work the app very well. So I'm like, okay. So they canceled it. So I get another request and I pull off down the street, and I don't know if it was fate or whatever, but that one canceled. I'm like, oh. So at this point, I'm already out for about 15, 20 minutes, and I haven't completed a ride yet. I get a little fee for a cancel, which is like $3. So, and then the second one, I didn't even get a cancel fee because you get like 2 minutes before you can cancel, and you don't, they don't charge the passengers, which means I'm not getting anything. But it was cool. I only was maybe a couple minutes down the, not even a couple minutes down the street. So another request comes in. Sure enough, it's the bar I just left. Okay, so I turn around and I go back, and sure enough, the same couple. And I pull up and I'm like, no, please, Lord, don't tell me. It's for a shared ride. Okay. And if you're not familiar with what a shared ride is, a shared ride is for one person. Okay. And it's a cheap ride because it's only for you. And you're basically agreeing to, if another person is going in your direction, I can pick up another passenger along with you, with the person making the shared ride request. So I pull up and I'm like, you can't do that. I'm trying to educate them again. You requested a shared ride and it's two of you. You can't do that. And I'm like, oh, you know what? At this point, I'll just go ahead and take you. It's only, I knew where the bar was they were going. It's only like not even 2 miles away. I said, I'm going to overlook it this time, but normally you're not supposed to order a shared ride when it's two people. Okay. And they're like, and the woman is clearly drunk. I could smell them from before they even get in the car, but no worries. They order Uber for a reason, so they're not driving drunk. As long as you're not belligerent or you're about to throw up, I'll take you. That's fine. So they get in the car and we're joking and laughing and everything. They're nice people and everything. But I was joking with the husband. I said, please don't let your wife handle the app. She's too drunk to make sense. She's not making sense. And he's like, yeah, I know, I am the one who should be handling the phone, not her. I said, yeah, drunk people should not order Uber rides because they don't know what they're doing, especially when you're old. And we're all laughing. It was funny. So I drop them off. I got like $1 tip later. So that was kind of funny. So yeah, that was my first ride that actually, could count towards the quest. Okay, so it was pretty uneventful for the most part for the most of the night. Um, I would say I did get a good streak of shared rides, which what happened was around, I'd say 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, you get quite a few Amazon workers who either coming from or going to work. Okay. So when you do weekend nights, I'm not sure if it happens during the week because I don't drive the weekday nights, but weekend nights, you can get quite a few Amazon, UPS, workers who do like the distribution centers. Um, uh, I forgot, Macy's is one of them that's here in Arizona. So yeah, but it's quite a few Amazon workers. Okay. So I had a shared ride, picking up an Amazon worker, and he was a really nice guy. And it was a shared ride because they're the cheapest, and Amazon workers who are really dependent on Uber and Lyft, they mostly order shared rides because of the cost, and most of them don't have their own car, or they'll tell me stories about why they don't have a car, which I feel bad for. So yeah, so I picked the guy up and he was telling me how he's like in his late 40s, and you don't really get Amazon workers that are older like that because they're on their feet for pretty much for 12 hours. And he was telling me, this is like he has 3 jobs and he has to work these 3 jobs because he had a job doing customer service, got fired, and ended up having to work for Amazon, and how his knees are getting bad. And he's like, I can't afford surgery because then if I have to do a sit down job, I can't get overtime. I won't be approved for overtime. So I said, okay. And during our conversation, the app dings and it says, it's telling me he's getting matched with another rider. So when you get that, it says rider added, and it'll tell you how much you're getting in addition to this ride. So for me, it's like cha-ching, I'm getting another ride, and it's another ride added onto the quest. So pick up a lady, and it's at another Amazon, right? So pick her up, and we continue talking. And this poor guy, I really feel bad that for his circumstances. And he's like, I'm going back to my apartment, take a nap, and then I gotta go to my other job. And it's like 3 in the morning. So drop him off, and then and he gave me a $5 tip, and I'm like, oh, and that's another thing. Why is it these people who have no money, they're the ones who are thoughtful enough to give us a tip, and it seems like the people who have the most money don't want to tip you, and make it make sense. Can anybody make sense of that for me? Because I don't get it. Anyway. So I dropped him off, and then the other lady, I'm about to drop her off. I always confirm, the street they live on. And then sure enough, ding, ding, co-rider added. I'm like, oh, another one. So I go to pick up the next passenger, and I'm picking her up at a hotel, another nice lady. And so then I go to drop the next one off, and then I drop off the third passenger. So, which is cool because now I get 3 rides all like in one. So, which is cool to, because it helps to complete the quest that much faster. And what was nice was that they were within a certain mile. I didn't have to go very far because I've had shared rides, and the thing about that is you don't know where that shared ride that they add on where the final destination is, which I do not like with that Uber does. Okay, because when I take that shared ride, the first one, when that request comes in, and I hit, and I accept it, and it's a shared ride, they can just add it on whether you want them to add it or not. And you don't know where that other ride is going, because I've had times where I get a shared ride and it's only about 5 miles away. They add on a co-rider, and that co-rider, it might be going 30 miles away, and you have no control over that. And I'm like, what? I had one time picked up a passenger from Desert Diamond Casino here, which is in Glendale, Arizona, or Peoria. This like on the border. Anyway, so I picked them up, and then there was a co-rider added. Go pick up the co-rider. I drop off the first guy who was local, and then when I swipe and see where the next one's going, it's in Chandler. I'm like, are you kidding me? Chandler is 30 miles. What? Why would I agree to a ride going to Chandler? That's what Uber plays games, okay? Why would you add on a ride that's that far away, okay? But that's just Uber, okay? Uber plays these games. But anyway, I'm supposed to be talking about my night last night, and I digress. So back to last night. Okay, so it was a pretty average night. It had rained all day, so it seemed like it wasn't going to be very busy. But then like 4 o'clock, that's when, like I said, the Amazon workers and everybody's changing shifts. So that's when the rides were just coming in. And I'm just like, decline, because I'm like, I'm not going there. And with Uber and Lyft, you don't have to take every ride. You have to kind of it's called cherry picking. And the rides come in so quick that time of the morning because everybody's got to get to work or get home. So then they start throwing out surges. So if you are familiar with rideshare, and even if you've just ordered rides and never actually have been a driver, but you've used the service, at peak times, you'll see surge pricing. Okay. And Uber at certain times. Even, Saturday mornings are really good. Even early Sunday mornings are good for surges. And that means you might get $5, $7, $9 on top of what the ride is. Okay. So that's the good thing about surge pricing. Okay, I just thought of, another really interesting story last night. I picked up a guy and his friend, and you could tell they were tipsy, and it was from another casino. There's another Desert Diamond casino. There's actually two of them, but there's a newer one that opened a little farther away from the original one. Um, they call that the White Tanks because it's near the White Tank Mountains. And so I picked these guys up and they were going to Buckeye. Okay. And Buckeye is here also in the West Valley. So I picked these guys up and they were pretty interesting because the one guy, he actually he's told me he had started off doing Uber, was a new driver. So I was listening to his stories because he said I had a goal to do 100 rides, and he actually did the 100 rides. And I'm listening to like, oh, I picked up some of these weird guys and blah blah. And I'm like, yeah, that's gonna happen, and I was letting, relating my stories to, because I'm close to 5,000 rides. And he was telling me, and he's a big Hispanic guy, and he's like, oh, I don't see how you could drive at night. I'd be scared. I'm like, seriously? You're a big Hispanic guy and you're gonna be scared to drive at night? He's like, oh yeah, I just drove during the day because it felt safer. And I'm like, okay, dude, you do you, because, I'm out here to try to make this money. And I was trying to let him know, I'm like, bro, when you're driving around during the day, you're spending more sitting in the traffic and, you're not going to make the same money during the day. There's a reason why nights pay more. First of all, you're not sitting in the traffic during the day. At the time I picked them up, it was like maybe between 1 and 2 o'clock. I said, look around. Do you see any traffic? Are you sitting at it? Am I sitting at lights? You see how easily I can get up and down the highway? There's a reason that I drive at night, because I could be like, zoom, 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 pick up a ride, drop them off, pick them up, dropping them off. And I'm not sitting at lights, or waiting for 10 cars in front of me to make that left turn. I'm the only car making the left turn, okay, because there's no traffic right now. And he's like, oh yeah, you know what? That makes sense. I said, yeah. And then, and I, as a woman, I do everything to be cautious and have my safety. I always watch out for my safety first and foremost. Number one, I always keep my doors locked. Number two, I have a dash cam. Number three, I have a little flashlight that has a taser on it. I've never used it, but I have it just in case. Okay. All right. And then number four, you always verify. Somebody comes up to your door, you don't unlock that door until they tell you their name. I'll roll the window down and say, hey, what's the name on the ride? They can't tell me, you can't get in this car, okay? They'll say, most of the time they'll say Yolanda, and they'll hold up their phone. I'm like, oh, okay. So, you're cool. All right. Especially if you're picking up somebody at like an establishment where there's a lot of people outside, like a bar, there's a lot of people in the parking lot, or there's a place here called Westgate, and there's lots of bars. There's a big entertainment place. And if there's a lot of people standing out there looking for their Ubers or Lyft or whatever, I'm not just going to open my door to whoever rando is going to try to pull the door open. I'm like, and people get mad because they think they could just get in your car. And I'm like, no, dude, you got to verify who you are first. Okay. You're not just going to open my door. All right. And, I'm like, you got to respect that I'm a female driving alone at night. I'm not just going to open my door. And there's sad stories about women who've like gotten into Ubers without, not checking the license plate or anything, and then were never heard from again. And I'm not going to have somebody get in my car and possibly try to rob me or worse, okay, because I didn't check. Okay, or I'm picking up the wrong person, and we're taking off down the street, and they find out, oh, this is not the car I'm supposed to be in. So, and then, that other person's probably canceling, and then you've lost your money. Okay, so no. Anyway, um, so yeah, that's why you always have to really be cautious and be safe out here. Okay, can be very dangerous at night. It's a large city. Okay, and there's times where I leave my little nice suburban area and drive into the city. Okay. Sometimes I try to avoid Phoenix as much as I can, but if it's a very busy night, I have to go into Phoenix, and there's very sketchy areas. So you have to be very, very careful where you go. So another thing I wanted to mention, in regards to driving, like last night was pretty typical for a Friday night, but I just wanted to mention something you should be aware of doing rideshare. Um, as far as safety is concerned, always be aware of your surroundings, okay? Um, so it doesn't matter if you're a woman or a man. Safety is always first and foremost. And one of those issues you should always be aware of when you're driving at night, especially, or really any time, but especially at night, is your surroundings. Okay. It's dark and you can't always see down these streets. And in the Phoenix area, there's tons of construction. Okay. The housing market here is just booming, booming. And I'll pull up to streets that have new house builds going all the time. So, in addition to, just being aware of your surroundings, look out at that street in front of you and make sure there's like no crap in the streets that they leave, loose nails, whatever. I've had at least a few incidents of having a flat tire. So you always want to make sure that there's no stuff in the streets from construction, because a lot of times I'll pull into these new neighborhoods that are just been with these new houses. Some houses are already moved into, but then there's some houses that are still in the process of being built, and they're almost ready to be move-in ready. But these workers sometimes, whether it's their fault or maybe something just randomly fell off a truck or something, and you might accidentally run over something. So I am cautious about pulling into a neighborhood that's being newly built. Okay, and it happens all the time. So you always have to be aware of where you're driving. Okay, it's already if you pull into a sketchy area, and then Phoenix area has tons of homeless people. So you have to always be aware, there could be some random guy walking in the middle of the street at 3, 4 in the morning as well. So there's a lot of hazards that you should be aware of, because at night it's darker, and the streets aren't always that greatly lit at night. Okay. So it's just for the safety of you and your car as well, because it's crappy to have to try to get help in the middle of the night because you have a flat tire. And what if you're in a sketchy neighborhood? So you have to be careful. And then it helps to always check your car, make sure before you even go out for the night, your tires are properly inflated. I always walk around the car. I try to always remember to walk around the car. And if you can afford it, have some like jumper cables. I have one of those random battery packs that you can charge. You can even charge it from your phone. It'll give you a little boost. It's not like having a battery from another car when if you have to give up a jump if your battery goes dead. But sometimes it only needs a little bit of a boost, to get it started. So I keep one of those in the car, and if I remember, I will take it in the house and charge it from time to time to make sure it stays having a charge. And then I also have like a tire inflator as well for safety. So like if you need to give your air some air to your tires, you have that. Okay, you don't have to drive around, or if you're already going on flat, you can't drive around on the rim. So yeah, it helps to have a few things for safety in your car as well. Okay. All right, so as you can see, I'm almost ready to go out for my evening. Um, just some finishing touches and I'm getting ready to go. So I hope you enjoy my little passenger stories. And please continue to come back to the channel. I'll be adding and uploading more videos. So please comment if there's anything you would like to hear me make stories about, or recommendations on what you'd like me to share about being a driver. Um, I really enjoy it actually. Like I said, you have your ups and downs. You have your challenges with doing Uber and Lyft, but for the most part, I really enjoy it, and I'm gonna try to stick it out for as long as I can. Um, so I mean, just being on the driving on the weekends, though, uh, it's not as challenging as like a driver who does it full time, but it still can be challenging, especially driving at night, as I said. But yeah, please keep coming back. I'll be trying to add as much content as possible because this is a new journey for me, and please keep coming back, like and subscribe and comment. I really would appreciate you hanging out with me as I continue my rideshare journey. And I appreciate all of your likes and support. Um, and then prior to my going out, I always say a little prayer just to ask God to protect me as I'm going out and about, which I feel like is what keeps me the safest, is always putting God first before I do go out in the evenings. And it always helps too that my husband will watch from his phone where I am, just in case too. But first and foremost is having God's protection as I drive about in the Phoenix area. Okay, so thank you so much, and come back, and I will be posting again soon. Take care. Bye bye. Have a good night.